Hi, Newsmax Daily podcast listeners. The date is September 30th, 2025. My name is Kay Smythe-Hill, filling in for Tony Marino. First up today, let's listen to Eric Trump on Rob Schmitt Tonight, discussing the clash between Democrats trying to shut down the government and President Donald Trump, who is just trying to keep everything working smoothly.
Well, this is pretty simple. I'm proud of my father. I'm proud of him doing exactly what he said he was doing, right? I mean, it shows the anarchy all around the country. The fact that you have protests there, I mean, at the end of the day, my father wants one thing. He's always been very clear about it. He wants legal immigration. He wants to make sure bad people are not in this country. Bad people aren't terrorizing the streets. And Rob, I have to say, when you look at what he did in Washington, D.C., right, where in a matter of 1 week, he cleaned up a city that was absolutely being terrorized by crime, by burglaries, by murders. And then you see people like Pritzker in Chicago who literally won't allow him to bring in troops and won't allow him to do the same thing in Chicago, which is another, war-torn city. Yeah. It breaks my heart. At the same time, I think it shows every American how insane the radical left truly is when you can stop it. He proved he could stop it. He showed he had the recipe to stop it, and they won't take him up on it. But I'm proud of what he's doing, and I'm proud he's making our streets safe. That's a wonderful thing for the United States.
Yeah. And Pritzker's certainly going to get the criminal vote. There's no question about that. I mean, if you're a violent criminal in Chicago, you know who you're voting for. Let's talk about this Comey indictment. It's hard not to laugh when they call this politicized and they say it's unprecedented, as we can hear right here.
He has turned this Justice Department into his own political watchdog. It's horrible. No president has done this. This is what autocrats do.
As a constitutional attorney and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, do you believe it's acceptable for any president to publicly or privately instruct their attorney general to prosecute a political opponent and go as far as firing a U.S. attorney if they don't bring charges because they don't think the case is strong enough?
This is a political prosecution, pure and simple. It's Exhibit A of the corruption of this Department of Justice.
So the New York Times writing, in going after his foes, Trump sets a precedent that could haunt his allies. As you respond to this, Eric, let's just take a look at your father's mugshot as you laugh at everything you just heard. Go ahead.
Rob, you don't understand how humorous this is coming from Chuck Schumer and Jake Tapper, right? I mean, I'm the subject of 112 subpoenas, never having done a damn thing wrong in my life, never crossing a line, being a perfect role model, being a perfect model citizen, no laptops from hell, nothing. And they came after me like I was a dog. They tried to impeach my father 2 times. They went after him for a Russia hoax that did not exist, that was paid for by Hillary Clinton. The FBI and the DOJ spied on my father's campaign. They deplatformed him. They weaponized every attorney general and every district attorney around the country. They indicted him 91 times, 34 times in a bogus trial in New York City. They posted his mugshot. He's the most recognizable person in the world. They posted his mugshot, even though they didn't need to. It totally backfired on him. They gagged him over and over and over. They raided his home. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They tried to get him divorced. They tried to separate our family. They tried to go after our employees. They attacked us. They tried to bankrupt our company. They deplatformed us. They stripped every bank account away from me and the Trump organization that you can imagine. And Merrick Garland was at the forefront of all of it. And Joe Biden was at the forefront of all of it when they raided our home. When they raided Mar-a-Lago, when they raided Melania's closet, when they raided 16-year-old Barron's room. And I get to hear from Chuck Schumer that my father weaponized, justice. You must be kidding me. You must be. And it's the entire principle of the entire book, Under Siege, right? It's what I wrote about. And then, by the way, aside from weaponizing government, Rob, then they tried to kill my father not once, but twice. Yeah. I don't want to hear it for them.
Yeah. With just like we're talking about the ICE, the same rhetoric that's getting ICE officers attacked every day is the same rhetoric that got your father shot. And by the way, just a quick question. I wonder how many people have gotten through the first 79 years of their life without being charged with a crime and then got 91 felonies at 79. I bet that doesn't happen too often.
No, what's even better is he got through 79 years of his life. Then he ran in 2016, and they thought they had it in the bag. They underestimated all of us. Yeah. And then he won. And then he decided to rerun. And all of a sudden, when he decided to rerun for the second time, knowing that he was a viable contender, and that he had created the greatest political movement in the history. Then they charged him with 91 counts. Then they had every sham, crooked judge in New York try and fine our company $560 million for doing absolutely nothing wrong, which we had all overturned. I mean, that's when they were planting folders that said top secret on the carpets of Mar-a-Lago vis-a-vis Jack Smith. I don't want to hear it from Chuck Schumer, and I certainly don't want to hear it from Jake Tapper.
I tell you what, it's going to be a good book. I can tell you heated up. Under Siege, Eric Trump. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Next up, an interview with Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez, who spoke to Bianca de la Garza about the failure to support law enforcement and subsequent crime chaos throughout the city. Yesterday, President Donald Trump announced he'll be sending troops to Portland, Oregon to quell the city's own criminal catastrophe. So let's hear what those troops may face in a similarly run city.
Chicago also has been seeing more ramped up unrest. Pleased to have Chicago Alderman representing the 15th Ward, Raymond Lopez. Good to see you. Today, the governor, J.B. Pritzker, will be out having a news conference at 4 o'clock because we know that there are now a lot of concerns about these ICE facilities, but also federal agents are now going around the streets of downtown Chicago. Your reaction to sort of this heightened tension here after we saw a sniper shoot a detainee last week in Dallas? It seems like DHS is doing whatever they have to do to keep their agents and detainees safe.
Well, Bianca, I do not fault ICE or Homeland Security doing whatever it takes to keep agents safe. We have seen even here in Broadview, which is a neighboring suburb to the city of Chicago, where protesters have come with weapons, have guns, incendiary devices, in what they claim are peaceful protests trying to fight against the Trump administration. They are anything but peaceful. And it's sad that our governor, our mayor, and so many other elected officials refuse to recognize these federal agents as members of law enforcement, enforcing the laws of this country, and are willing to keep them in harm's way. Broadview has finally decided to bring the police to help keep and maintain order so that the federal government doesn't have to. But all of this could have been dealt with had the governor and the mayor amended our sanctuary laws and worked with immigration and Tom Homan from the very beginning 8 months ago.
No, they don't want to do that. They just want to dig in their heels and do more theatrics, more news conferences to get this sort of photo op moment. And you're right. We have to underscore what you just said. This is what you're talking about. I mean, these are the people coming. Homeland Security, Raymond, put out what you were talking about. 11 violent rioters arrested in Chicago outside the ICE detention facility. Look at this. You're saying this is the pictures to what you were just telling us. They bring guns. I mean, you're not bringing a gun if you want a peaceful protest. Look at this. So they say this appears to be an explosive device. I mean, how many more people are going to get hurt or killed as these rioters have no qualms coming in armed, potentially well-funded as well? So when you listen to J.B. Pritzker today, as we will, at 4 o'clock, how does he defend this? And I mean, these people here, this is Broadview. They're going up in front of a federal agent's car. I mean, if they get run over, you're not allowed in America to go and put your hands on a federal agent or get in front of their vehicle. But somehow they're going to try to paint them as the innocent people just out there protesting.
Well, the governor and the mayor have definitely set the stage that, the protesters are the ones who have the rights here in the state of Illinois, the county of Cook, and the city of Chicago, until you meet the federal government, which supersedes everybody. And they are learning a very difficult lesson right now, which is that protesters don't have as many rights as they think they do in how they behave and act and address law enforcement. But I think it's very shameful, to be perfectly honest with you, to hear Governor Pritzker or Mayor Johnson try to compartmentalize what we're seeing going on right now as though it's somehow different from the other lawlessness that they've been so welcoming of here in the state and county and the city. We need to start holding people accountable. We need to be able to work with ICE, and we need to allow ICE to do their job. If you don't like it, take it up with your members of Congress, change the laws so that ICE has new directives. But that's not what they're trying to do. They'd just rather have something to run on, whether it's for re-election or for the presidency. And it's very short-sighted, and it will only hurt the long-term undocumented who've been waiting for a path forward for generations.
You know, and as a Democrat, that does speak volumes because you are calling out your own party. You're not afraid to do it. Looking at sort of the common sense of this and just the law and order. Raymond Lopez, always good to have you with us today, sir. And I do hope things stay safe in Chicago there.
Let's now turn to Greta Van Susteren interviewing Senator John Fetterman about our most important ally and their ongoing war, Israel versus the Hamas terrorist organization, and Donald Trump's proposed peace deal for Gaza.
Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman joins me. Good evening, sir, and your thoughts about what we just listened to at the White House with President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I mean, I thought overall it was very strong, but also the optics too is also very strong. Obviously you can see there on your screen, the Prime Minister and the President are there, and clearly the Prime Minister is very, very enthusiastic about it and fully backs this as well too, with Israel's buy-in. And now, of course, it's very clear now the President will fully back Israel if Hamas decides to reject this. And I can't imagine how Hamas thinks they could get a better deal for what was offered today. So I think overall that was a very substantial and meaningful plan to move forward, and now really effectively puts the ball firmly in Hamas's court.
Well, it certainly seems to me it's a win for Israel because in the event Hamas doesn't accept this, now it has the full power of the United States behind them, at least what President Trump said. Even though we're very supportive of Israel, this seems to have gone further. So, you know, Israel wins either way, either as peace or it's going to eliminate Hamas. But who is, I mean, all the leaders of Hamas have been eliminated, or most of them. Hania, the Sinwar and his brother. Who does Israel negotiate with, or the United States?
Well, for me, at this point, I've been very clear, and I fully backed Israel. I've been supported everything that Israel has done post 10/7 at this point. But, you know, forcing Hamas to effectively surrender and now disarm and send all the hostages home. I mean, that's clearly been addressed in the proposal as well. And furthermore, it allows people now. It's not going to have a different kinds of a government, and it's not going to definitely never be Hamas, and it's not going to be the PA. It's going to be a new way forward. Is now that's part of it too. Now, Hamas? They've also something amnesty for that. And I can't imagine Hamas could get a better deal for there. And I thought overall it was pretty comprehensive. And now if Israel fully buys into this, as it seems like it has, then I have to nothing but to support that as well too. And now, of course, it depends on what Hamas, how they respond. But if they don't, it's clearly that they are only interested in just preserving themselves and maintaining a military position there, what's left. And now Israel now has already put itself right down and gone into Gaza City. And that's also part smart as well, too. The second they say no, Israel is right there to finish the job and now root out Hamas, what remains.
Well, it's clear if they say no, Hamas does not care one lick about the Palestinians, nothing. You know, not that anyone ever, at least I never thought that they did. I never thought they've used them as human shields and they've done everything else. But the amnesty, I think, that you mentioned is important because that in one of the prior proposals, they wanted amnesty. I mean, these killers, these terrorists want an amnesty. They're going to get it if they just lay down their arms.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I mean, I don't love the fact that they have to release 250 lifers, and that means they've obviously killed or harmed Israeli civilians too through terrorism and those things. But regardless, though, where they're at, and I do think that was very comprehensive. And now neither the Israelis, of course, our nation never referred to the Palestinians as unnecessary sacrifices. That's Hamas. You know, they don't care how many Palestinians die throughout all this war. That's all part of the plan, the way they designed that. And all of it, and all of this misery could end right now. Effectively, that was laid down at the White House today, that it could end now, right now. And now why this is so much more comprehensive than, you know, just like our allies, you know, like France, you know, like let's recognize Palestine. No, like that's not peace. that's really was a gift to Hamas. But to this today, this is effectively putting the ball right there in Hamas's court. And now, do you really want peace, and do you want a path forward for the Palestinians, or not? And now Israel is right there ready in Gaza City to finish out the job.
Finally, in entertainment news, no one will be watching the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Jason Whitlock joined Rob Schmitt last night to discuss why.
Oh, it's going to be such a great halftime show. Unless you're a 23-year-old club rat from Jackson Heights, Queens, this will be your 20-minute bathroom and nacho break. Jason Whitlock joins us now. Your reaction to this choice, Jason?
I think the NFL is trolling Donald Trump and MAGA. I think that Northern California, where this Super Bowl is going to be held, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, they're trolling MAGA. I think this is a reaction somewhat to, obviously, ICE and the whole illegal immigration thing and Trump trying to deport people. But also, I think the Charlie Kirk Memorial Service and what a great celebration and testament it was to Christian values. Well, this is the left-wing response to that. They're going to put on a demonic, cross-dressing, gangster Puerto Rican rapper who he just does all the same gangster rap as the American black rappers do here. He just does it in Spanish. And so this is their response to Charlie Kirk. Hey, you guys had your nice little event that went, over very well. We're going to put on a big event to argue our side of the story. It has nothing to do with football fans. It has nothing to do with American fans.
Nope.
It's a pissing match with Donald Trump and MAGA.
And I mean, just to put a finer point on it, the fact that they choose a rapper that doesn't even speak in the language of the country is just, nobody knows any of the words to these songs unless, like I said, you live in Hialeah or Alhambra or in the Bronx or Queens. I mean, there's the fan base for this guy is so minimal here in the United States. I mean, they're trying to market towards what? A couple with two kids that live somewhere in the Midwest. That's your TV audience. That's what they're all aiming for. Nobody will have any idea who this guy is. And I can just see all the suits at the NFL that are just all Greenwich left-wing, virtue signalers saying that, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want.
It's globalism.
Yeah.
And globalism is the antithesis of America first. It's the antithesis of what's right for America. And so this has nothing to do. The National Football League feels like they have a monopoly. That they're in bed with every television network, every Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime. They're in bed with everybody, and they feel like, hey, you know what? We don't have to care about American sports fans. We can serve other agendas. We can serve political agendas. We can serve our global initiatives. No one cares about American consumers, American people, American sports fans. Rob, Christians organized sports. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, the Young Men's Christian Association, that's who organized sports, the YMCA. Sports have been stolen from Christians. And I think we need to draw a line in the sand right here, right now with this Super Bowl halftime to put this Bad Bunny on and for parents to have to answer questions when he comes out there in one of his drag queen outfits, and parents are going to have to answer questions from their kids about what are we watching here? What's going on, mommy, daddy? We shouldn't have to tolerate this.
They don't.
I think this is a Bud Light moment for the NFL. It's a Target moment. How many times do they get to piss on the American media, the American people, and we just sit back and take it?
They don't.
I'm hoping that we rally together and do something to object.
They think we're a captured audience. We'll watch whatever the hell they put in front of us. Our eyes are just glued to it anyway, and they don't care. Jason, good point. Good perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob.
That's our show, folks. The date is Tuesday, September 30th. My name is Kay Smythe Hill. You are listening to the Newsmax Daily podcast. I'll be back with you tomorrow. And until then, God bless.
News breaks every minute, every day. You need the app, the Newsmax app. Find it free on your smartphone store. Then watch us anytime, anywhere.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.